Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy is brought to you in part by Tom's Place, the finest in men's fashion, located in Toronto at 190 Baldwin Street, in the heart of Kensington Market. Or visit toms-place.com. It's everything you never needed to know. This is Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Listen, laugh, and learn.
What is the only primate other than humans to have blue eyes?
Do plants really respond to sound? Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Roy. And this week, we scoured the internet to find out these totally useless tidbits just for you.
Plus, we'll answer your question in the mailbag segment. And all I'm going to say is Alpha, Bravo, Tango. And in the news, it was a case of the mistaken car identity.
Totally useless information. It's everything you never needed to know.
Look out for that lion.
Animals, crazy animals.
Thank you. Oh, geez, I forgot about the kitty cat. Sorry. Hi. Thanks for joining us. Once again, 80 countries around the world. You're meowing for total useless information, which is why you're here, and we do really appreciate that.
Water animals.
Yeah, water animals. Go ahead. I'm going to write this down.
Yeah.
Water animals, yeah.
These are considered water animals,
Okay.
but they're also animals that would drown in water, very much like us.
Okay.
So we can swim, we can be in water, but we would drown. These particular animals live in water, yet they could also drown. And they are the turtle, the crocodile, the alligator. This is one you don't think about. The dolphin,
Really?
the whale, and water snakes and frogs. These are animals that breathe air just like we do, but they live in the water. The dolphin lives in water just like a fish, but it literally comes up to breathe air.
So,
You know what was cool? Did
Yeah.
you see that SpaceX thing where the capsule comes down?
Yeah.
And the dolphins surrounded it?
yeah.
That was so cool.
It
The
was very-
dolphins were like, hey, what's this?
It's like it was very what's that it's not Water World. What's the park in Florida? The Marine World or something.
Yeah, but you noticed that the capsule kind of looked like a big, monstrous, bottlenose dolphin.
Right, yeah. That's right.
And all the male dolphins were like, I'm getting with that.
Yes, they flipped out. Spritz me some eau de toilette. Now, listen carefully because on a previous episode, we talked about the different mating rituals of animals. So, growing antlers and fighting with the boys to prove their physical prowess is just the first step in a bull moose's bid to breed a female. So, we're talking about moose here, okay? As she lingers nearby, he digs a hollow in the ground, urinates in it, and rolls around in this bath of musky hormonal pee, according
It
to...
sounds like Nick at a party at high school.
It was not.
He drank so much that he urinated himself and then walked up to girls,
So this
thinking
bath...
he had super prowess.
Well, maybe see, the thing is, the problem with that was I thought I was a moose. Being Canadian and all. So this bath...
No, I'm sorry, not moose, mice.
Mice. Mouse is it's a land of mouse or moose.
The listeners know what I mean.
100%. So anyway, so he digs this thing in the ground. So this bath of musky hormonal pee, according to a biologist, Franco Mariotti.
Yeah.
He's worked for over 32 years at a science north in Sudbury, Ontario, so he knows. Enchanted, the cow moose swoons for his signature scent,
Oh, sure.
lies down in the bath, and the rest is none of your business.
Sure, exactly. He
Yeah.
has the little brush to do his back.
That's right.
And
Does
he's
he?
like,
Does he have?
and he sings his favorite song, Yellow River.
So that, you know what? I think what she was thinking was, boy, you look horny. Oh, they're antlers. That's right. They're antlers. Okay. I love when they say, and the rest
You
is
had to
none.
get that in there, didn't you?
I did. And I love when they say the cows lie down in the bath and the rest is none of your business.
Okay. The only primate, this was my teaser, and I know some of you may have tried to look it up,
Yeah.
which
nice
is
try.
not fair.
No,
Not fair. That's
No.
our job.
that's right.
The only primate to have blue eyes other than humans, these are natural blue eyes occurring in the process of birth, the lemur. Now, have you ever seen a lemur?
No.
They're freaky looking little rodent animals. They're scary looking. They're like bug-eyed freaks. Folks, get on your phones and look up image of lemurs.
I'm doing that right now, as a matter of fact.
Freaky, ferrety looking, bug-eyed, blue, freaky eyes, gray, blue looking eyes.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
You see?
yeah.
I looked at it and I was like, where have I seen this before? And then I'm like, Nick.
Oh, no. What? Oh, oh, I thought you were calling my name, Nick. Yes. And their tails are striped, right? So it's almost like a
Yes.
cross between a raccoon and a monkey.
Yep. It's a freak. It looks like a big ferret.
Yeah.
But with that, it almost looks like it should be like a cartoon character with those buggy eyes.
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's cool though. But they're the only animal other than humans that could have blue eyes.
So when we used to court our significant others, and I'm sure we're on our other dates that we've been on, we always try to dress up nicely, dress to impress, right?
At least you thought you did.
Well, so what
Flannel's not in. Nick.
you wore, not even back then, like you're wearing that shirt, right? Isn't that, it's like when you're single and you put on a shirt, you go, I'm going to wear this shirt. But then when you're married, they're like, you're going to wear that shirt? Right?
Exactly.
So many
Or when
male,
they buy you a pink shirt to let the other girls know that you're taken.
right? Yes.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
many male birds gussy up their plumage during breeding season, but
Yes.
few as dramatically as the black-polled warbler. It's a
The old
drab,
black pole.
the black-polled warbler. You have to. That's the whole name. A drab greenish dweeb in fall and winter. The black-poll becomes a chick magnet in the spring,
Oh yeah.
molting into new tuxedo-like black and white feathers.
Oh wow.
Hold on, there's more.
Putting on
Accessorize,
the Ritz.
putting on the Ritz, accessorized with bright yellow legs.
Wow. He's clashing.
Are
He's
you
using
gonna?
a pop color.
It's like you're wearing those legs to the date.
You know, we've been doing this show too long.
Yeah.
We learn all these terms.
I know.
Pop color.
Oh yeah. Oh,
clashing.
100%. Sure.
Oh my God.
So the customary drive to remain hidden for safety is overridden by his need to appear fit and showy to females.
Does he urinate on himself?
No, that's the moose. But while intimidating the competition with his good looks.
Yeah. Well, that's what I used to do.
Right. What? Used to intimidate or have good looks?
No, I used to wear yellow pants.
The next time I have a conversation with your wife, which will be really soon, I'm going to ask her if he ever wore yellow pants on a date.
Attention, folks.
Yes?
This is very important.
Yes.
You must listen to this.
Okay.
You must remember it and learn it
I'm listening.
and live it.
Right.
Attention.
Uh-huh.
To escape the grip of an alligator's jaws,
Yeah.
just do this simple one thing. Push your thumb into their eyeball.
What? Really?
You got it? It's very simple.
Oh, yeah.
Just
That's
push
simple.
your thumb into their eyeball. Do not think about the crushing grip
No.
of the 400,000-pound crushing of the jaw and teeth on your body's legs
Mhm.
or torso. Just remember, simple poke in the eye.
Right. So these are what, alligators?
This is actually true, though.
Okay.
Alligator people, I guess you would call them the people that work with alligators.
Okay,
What would you
yeah.
call them? Alligator scientists,
Experts.
gator lovers.
Yeah. Gatorade.
which Could,
You know
could
what?
have some scary connotations
Because
to it.
they help them. They're gator aids.
They're
right.
gator
AIDS.
aids. That's
Uh-huh.
right.
There you
Yes,
go.
Yes, yes.
That's what they are.
You don't want to get them all like pissy by bringing like one of those bags. Those what are those called? Brahmin bags for
No.
women that look like alligators.
Yeah. No.
No, they'll get very mad.
So what's the difference between an alligator and a crocodile? No?
One lives in Florida, the other lives in Africa. That's one thing.
Okay.
And then another thing, I believe crocodiles can get up to like 4 times the size of an alligator.
Wow.
Which just makes it easier to poke in the eye.
Oh, it is. And of course, there are many alligators walking around with just hands and fingers in their eyes.
If you see an alligator with a patch, you know he's ornery.
Oh, his name is Henri. He must be French.
We went on an alligator boat ride down here, one of those fan boats,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
and airboats, I think they call them.
Yeah.
And we went on it with a whole bunch of people. It was a lot of fun. We really had a good time, especially when you drink an entire bottle of Jack Daniels beforehand.
100. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Things seem very funny. But anyways,
Yes.
the guy says, "Oh, great, there's Lefty." It was an alligator with his left arm missing.
An alligator's arm was missing?
This alligator was so beat up looking. And we said, "What happened?" He goes, "He lost."
Of course, because he only had one arm. He was swimming around in circles.
Yeah. I have a lot of these funny stories.
Yeah, yes, they are. In fact,
So you know what I did? I just poked him right in the eye.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He only had one left, so.
No, but you see, what you did was you held up both your arms saying, look what I got, you don't.
Look what I got, you dirty.
Yeah. How about busting a move? The sharp-tailed grouse gets down and dances, or they call it lek, L-E-K, stomping his feet and shaking his tail in the company of a dozen or more males.
I can't believe that this is exactly what Nick would do in high school. First, he urinated on himself. Then he jumped up and down like a maniac.
Hey,
screaming and
no,
yelling,
wait a minute.
Stomping his feet.
Pardon me. The moose doesn't urinate on itself. It digs a hole and then he urinates in it.
On himself.
And then he
creates a bath.
That's
for himself,
right.
Which
Yeah.
is even more disgusting because I could see
it's different.
worse.
Okay, may I finish?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I want to hear about the grouse.
The sharp-tailed grouse. The goal is to boogie to the center of the dance floor and hog the limelight in a scene straight out of Saturday Night Feather. The females, great movie. The females will be looking to see how long he can dance for, according to the bird studies the bird studies of Canada, where he has endurance. So whether he has endurance, so the longer he's on the dance floor, that means he has a lot of endurance, and that's will attract the female sharp-tailed grouses.
Nick and Roy will continue with totally useless information. Totally useless information with Nick and Roy continues. Listen, laugh, and learn.
Down the garden path with Nick and Roy.
So I will give you my teaser right off the bat because people are curious to find out, do plants actually respond to sound? Well, talking to plants to help them grow, because I talk to my plants all the time. Do you? Talking to plants help them grow, and it's basically an old gardener's tale. But studies have shown that vibration, like music, or good vibrations, I guess, perhaps even the sweet sound of your voice, especially when Roy sings, because Roy does sing. And Roy sings, by the way, you can go to musicbyroy.com. A little plug there for you. So he can he can sing to you any songs about plants, but they can affect plant growth. So according to Mythbusters, they compared a silent greenhouse to one where they piped music soundtracks and found that the plants grew a lot more in that musical greenhouse.
So the music made the plants grow.
That's correct.
See how easy it is, folks? Music makes the plants grow.
Right. So it took me 45 seconds to tell you what you
It's just that simple.
That's just that simple.
Okay, this one's for the tree-hugging hippies.
Right.
Do you know that if you cut down an average size tree, how many pencils do you think you could get out of one average size tree?
I'm sorry, I can't figure that out because I don't have a pencil to do the math. I'm sorry.
Get ready for this, Nick. 170,100 pencils is the average amount of pencils you could get out of one average size tree.
One tree, 170,000. Wow.
Yeah, I was shocked at that one. I would have said 2,000, 170,000 pencils.
How do they know that? I'm sure, do they sit there and go, here's one, here's two, timber, here's three?
Well, if you owned a pencil factory, Nick.
Yes.
You'd be like, how many pencils do you think I'd get out of that tree?
We ask those questions all the time. The tallest record sunflower to be reached is over 30 feet. 30 feet tall.
Feet. That's 3 stories.
In 2014, a sunflower in Germany
Oh, Deutschland, Deutschland.
Thank you. They set the record for the tallest sunflower in the world, reaching an astounding 30 feet and 1 inch. That's as tall as you said.
Don't ever cut out that 1 inch, Nick.
No.
That 1 inch could matter. You
It
know?
does. That's what I've been told.
Especially in Deutschland, where we grow the biggest sunflowers.
It's as you mentioned, it's as tall as a 3-story building.
Wow. Dendrochronology.
Sure.
Dendrochronology is the science of counting the rings on the trunk of a tree.
Oh,
I didn't even know that would exist.
no.
There are scientists who they literally count the rings of trees to find out how old they are. So that's not a superstition.
Okay, we'll wait. What I mean is, there's a flower that blooms every 3,000 years.
How do we know that?
I'll be right back. I'll tell you.
Did they plant it when you were born?
Yes. Well, I was going to say it was my birth. It was my birth flower. The Puya Rimadoli, I think, is also. Go to nickroy.com and correct me on that pronunciation. It's also known as the Queen of the Andes. It's a lot simpler to say it that way. It's said to bloom only once every 3,000 years.
So wait a second. If Jesus
Yes.
was to have planted this
flower,
flower,
Queen of the
bush or
Andes,
whatever,
Queen of the Andes, yeah,
it would not have bloomed yet.
not yet, exactly.
Wow.
That's why he wants to come back to water it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When that blooms, boy, you better watch out.
Look out. So every 3,000 years, making it a rare and awesome and inspiring sight. However, it's more accurate than it blooms once in a lifetime, which can be decades long. So it takes 3,000 years to grow, but it only lasts a decade long.
Oh, so it'll last 10 years.
Right.
In bloom.
That's right.
That's kind of nice, if you catch it at the right time.
I'll wait for it. That's what I said. I'll wait. Sure, I have nothing else going on.
Could you imagine the gardener that sells that to you? Yeah, plant it. This thing's incredible.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, it blooms for 10 years. He doesn't tell you it's 3,000 years from
Before
now,
you
but
bloom, right.
whatever.
It's guaranteed to grow your money back.
We don't know what denomination of money, but money all the
Money,
same.
all exactly.
How does all the water get into the clouds in the atmosphere? Well, the word is evaporation. And
Okay.
water evaporates all the time. It evaporates from the ocean, it evaporates from rainforests. But how much evaporation does one large oak or beech tree give off during a 24-hour period of time? So this is the amount of water that evaporates off a large oak tree in one day.
Right.
25 gallons.
Oh,
This is, again, the 170,000 pencils, 25 gallons. That's a lot of gallons of water.
thirsty.
And then we wonder why the clouds are so full. They
Yeah.
weigh what, 1,000,000 tons or something?
Yeah, I think a cloud weighs. I think we did. We must have done this on the show over five
did.
years now, of totally useless information. I think the average cloud weighs around 1,000,000 pounds.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, when I think I asked on that particular episode is how they got a scale to go up there and check it out. I'm not sure.
It was a big scale.
It was a big scale. How about the skeleton flower? The skeleton flower is aptly named because its white petals turns clear when wet with rain or dew, very much like Roy does, revealing
Yeah.
the veins and support structures inside. Do you become clear when you get wet?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Every time I shower.
Yeah.
My wife can't even see me in there. She comes in, she's like, who is in the shower?
That's right. So when the blooms
It
dry,
concerns me.
well, that's right. Like, what do you mean? Who's in the shower? Who were
Yeah,
you
right.
Who were you expecting? Is the follow-up question, right?
Well, it ain't Don Johnson.
Well, Johnson is part of the equation, but anyway, when the blooms dry, they appear white again. So the skeleton flower is a deciduous perennial used as a ground cover in shady locations, very much like we visited it in high school,
Yeah.
shady locations.
We were at a lot of shady locations.
Oh, 100%. Why are you here? Because I heard it was shady.
Hanging out with a bunch of shady people.
Wear sunblock. Individual plants display bright green foliage reaching about 12 to 18 inches tall and spreading between 2 and 3 feet wide. The skeleton flower.
So I love this one. What do they call a cluster of bananas? Well, we had this on the show before. Do you remember what they call a cluster of bananas?
Is it hands or
My
something?
neighbor grew bananas.
Is it hands?
It's a hand.
It is. Okay.
Not plural. It's a hand.
A hand. Okay.
Of bananas. Okay, so we know that there's approximately 10 to 20 bananas in a hand of bananas.
Okay.
What are the bananas called?
Fingers?
Yes.
Okay, I just took a wild guess. I mean,
I'm so shocked because I think in 5 years that's the second time Nick has got it right.
That's right. Yeah. So very much like the plant that blooms every 3,000 years, I get one right every hundreds of episodes.
They call the bananas fingers. So there's 10 to 20 fingers per hand.
Okay.
Which is a bit freakish.
You're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy, and we want to thank you very much. Go to our website, nickandroy.com. Go to the Nick and Roy store, and here's why. You are going to be amazed by the birthday message opportunity that you have to order one for your loved one. It is an absolute unique gift for someone special in your life.
It's really unbelievable the response that Nick and I have gotten. We do these literally a customized show for that person for the year and date that they were born. And of course, you give us some information, some basic stuff about music they liked or sports that they liked. And we just find out all kinds of useless facts about it. The people flip out. It is so unbelievable. Our email bag is filled with people saying how much they loved it. The people that get it, it's the best gift for somebody that you say, oh, they have everything. Well, they don't have this. And it's inexpensive. Go to nickandroy.com. Go to the Nick and Roy store. Type on birthday messages. There's even a sample there for you to look at or listen to.
nickandroy.com.
Nick and Roy will continue with totally useless information.
Here comes the groom. Is there an upcoming wedding on your calendar? Hi, Nick and Roy for Tom's Place. If you're the lucky groom, Tom is your best man and ready to make you and your wedding party look stunning on your big day.
Whether it's formal or casual, destination, celebration, traditional or contemporary, they literally have you covered in clothes with their tailored suits and classic tuxedos, complete with all the accessories to help you shine in the spotlight.
Why rent when it's so affordable to buy an outfit that will serve you well for years? For the father of the bride or groom or a special guest needing elegant attire, Tom's Wedding Specialist help you save more and dress better. Discover more, including Canadian-made brands.
Make sure you enter the wonderful wedding contest at toms-place.com. That's toms-place.com to win a $500 credit for your wedding party.
Tom's Place, 190 Baldwin Street in the heart of a Kensington market in Toronto. Tom's Place will suit you.
We're back with totally useless information with Nick and Roy. Listen, laugh, and learn.
Tablet, today's history. What happens tomorrow is history. Yeah.
You know what I was going for in that? I was going for the Bob Dylan sound.
Oh, okay.
You know, which is horrible, by the way.
No, I think you did a great job.
Tablet, today's history.
Yeah. So what was that expression? Don't let them eat cake, right?
Ooh, yes.
Do not let them eat pie. In 1644,
Yes.
English statesman Oliver Cromwell banned the eating of pie.
Why?
Well, he declared it a pagan form of pleasure. Okay.
Yeah. Very much like our last topics.
For 16 years, pie eating and making pies went underground. Well, you got to make it before you eat it, I guess. But yeah, guess who wrote this one?
So the pie industry went underground
Until the
It's
Restoration.
tough to buy a pie.
So so in 1644, Oliver Cromwell said no, but the Restoration.
You know, we have to clarify something, Nick. I believe, and
Yes.
and this is because of being a chef for so many years.
Yes.
We think of in the United States and Canada, we think that pies are fruit-filled, deliciously buttery crusted items.
Yes.
But pies in Europe at that time were technically pagan food. They were meat pies. They would use the cheapest leftover scraps of meat to chop up, almost like we make chopped meat. They would make shepherd's pie and other type of meat pies. And so pie was not necessarily a dessert. It could have been a main course.
Very good. Well, thank you for clarifying that. But for
Well,
16,
I'm glad to be here for
well,
that. Yes.
the only reason. For 16 years, the pie eating went underground until the Restoration leaders lifted the ban on pie in 1660. So in 1660, they said, let them eat pie.
Or they said, let it come up from underground, full of moose urine.
Allegedly.
So you said, let them eat pie, let them eat cake.
Yes.
Use that little analogy.
Yes.
Which didn't take much. But so
Okay.
So I'll skip a couple here. When Louis the 16th and Marie Antoinette, who said let them eat cake.
There you go.
See,
Very nice.
See the segue?
And let me explain to the audience, though, and we sound surprised, not because, well, we're looking at each other, but also because what we do is when we prepare a show, we agree to 3 topics, and we do not share the facts. So we only present them for the first time.
It wouldn't be organic and it wouldn't be fun.
That's right.
That in the first 1 or 2 shows.
Yeah, and it didn't go over well. So that's why we're like, so quite a segue that I went from eating pie to Marie Antoinette.
Yeah, if you go to nickandroy.com and type on the first season, like the first 2 shows, you'll see how they suck.
No, they don't. That is our pilot episode. Our pilot episode has been downloaded so many times.
Yeah, we cleaned it up too.
Yeah, we did. We had to.
We put it out. It was pretty rough.
Yeah, it was. The bylaw officers came by and they
It was
took
like,
care.
Nick, your line is...
Yes.
Let them eat cake.
Let me interrupt you. So I'm glad you said that. So on next week's show, I already have the script for it. We don't have any scripts on the show. We just have our facts in front of us. I went to AI, Roy, and I asked AI to prepare a short script of totally useless information with Nick and Roy.
Oh.
And so what I will do is I will put that script up on the screens for the first time ever in all the episodes we've done.
We're
going to read it, but in as if it were a play.
Oh my!
Because it's a description. Okay, so
I'm interested.
So next week, AI will have a small bit of AI, because usually a disclaimer I put on the show is, and we'll get to your fact in just a moment, Roy, is that we do not use any artificial intelligence. In fact, we don't use any intelligence on the show, artificial or otherwise.
Yeah, and it's how I get away from alligators. I poke them in AI.
Poke them in AI. Well said. All right.
See, folks, I'm just burning it into your heads in case you come up with in front of an alligator.
So what about King Henry VIII and Marie Antoinette?
He's the 16th, Nick, but that's okay.
Oh.
eight generations, but okay.
I lost count. I'm sorry.
Well, they both were beheaded in 1793.
Okay.
And the people rejoiced in the streets.
Oh, really?
They loved it because, of course, Marie Antoinette said, let them eat cake. She was a pompous, elitist bourgeoisie.
Right.
Of course, the people were upset. They revolted and chopped their heads off. One of the things that the people did, allegedly, was run up to the bodies, which heads were in baskets. When they get chopped off, rather than have them roll off the stage, they fell into a basket.
Okay.
Well, the baskets were also full of blood because, of course, the jugular was cut and the blood just kept rushing out of their necks.
Lovely.
It's a beautiful sight.
It is.
She wore a beautiful dress that day. But anyway, so allegedly the people took out handkerchiefs and soaked them in the blood of King Henry and Marie Antoinette.
Sick.
And rejoiced, spinning the bloody handkerchiefs above their head. Kind of like Nick at an Italian wedding. So
I was going to say oppa, but go on.
Okay. Well, one of these handkerchiefs was sold at auction. Scientists tested it. And yes, it is and was the DNA of the line of Louis the XVI's blood.
Wow.
So it is not a folklore, it is truth that these psychopaths lined up in the street to soak handkerchiefs with their blood.
So instead of sports memorabilia, you have like, royalty memorabilia of handkerchiefs.
It's disgusting.
It is.
When you think about it. I mean, first off, to sit there and yay, his head came off on the first strike.
That's right. So how well do you sleep at night? Do you sleep well? You a sleeper?
I sleep on a mattress from Mattress Firm.
Okay.
No.
Well, I ask you how you sleep at night because if you were an ancient Egyptian, it'll be hard to sleep because ancient Egyptians used slabs of stone as pillows.
Oh, yeah.
So you see what I did there? Hard to sleep. In ancient Egypt, the head was considered to be the seat of spiritual life, although some people do talk out of their ass.
Yeah, I've seen people sit on their heads.
Yeah. Not that movie.
Back to Nick in high school.
The head was considered to be the seat of spiritual life and had to be cared for. Therefore, when getting into bed, the Egyptians would place their heads on a stone with a curve in it for better comfort.
Oh, so they were posturepedically set up.
Yes, they were. This is a super firm mattress. Hey, but you know what?
Of Heidi Klum or something and break.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though.
Whoa.
Leave it to the ancient Egyptians because they were always at night. They were always stoned.
There it is. Drop the mic.
Drop the mic. Yeah, give the engineers a heart attack. Drop the mic.
So we brought up before how much lemurs look like ferrets and Nick. So
that list keeps growing.
Let's talk ferrets.
Okay.
In ancient Rome, okay, the Italians would keep them very much like cats. In fact, they were scared of cats. There was on our show, we had a pope that actually said that cats were the devil, remember?
That's right.
Cats were outlawed to live in your home.
Yep.
So the Romans kept ferrets. And the reason why they kept these ferrets in the house was because they would kill all the mice and rats. Ooh. So they were also a deterrent to the rodent pestilence that would happen inside the house. You know, and that's not the only pestilence that was going on, Nick, because I don't even know what the word pestilence means.
Oh, it is. Oh, it means it's something dirty, really. At least I think so. It's been a long year, 46 BC, and I remember it well. It was
happy birthday to Nick.
No, it was. it was a long year, 46 BC. If I can tell you, it was 445 days long. It's the longest year in human history.
How is that possible?
Well, because it was nicknamed the Year of Confusion, as you're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. This year has had 2 extra leap months inserted by Julius Caesar. This was in order to make his newly formed Julian calendar match up with the seasonal year.
So he added months.
He did. Because he newly formed the Julian calendar, now available on Amazon.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So now all these poor calendar companies that use 12 pages.
That's right. Poor people.
Cut down some more trees.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, my God. Okay. There was an eruption of Krakatoa.
Yes.
Which was a volcano mountain, Krakatoa.
All right.
And it happened in 1883, which is kind of weird because 1883, it's almost like 1900. I mean, it's still within 100 some odd years.
Yes.
It was so loud, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is amazing. It ruptured eardrums of people 40 miles away.
Wow.
So people were 40 miles away. Their eardrums ruptured and exploded from the sound, the deafening sound of the explosion. It traveled around the earth an estimated 4 times. The vibration sound traveled 4 times around the earth. It was heard 3,000 miles away. Okay, that's like someone in San Francisco saying hello and you hearing it in New York.
Oh, wow.
Or me, or Nick using the bathroom and me knowing it down here in Florida.
Yeah. So it not
talk
only.
about Krakatoa.
Yeah, well, yeah. Crack a tile. So wait a minute. So the sound was so loud that
The eruption.
the eruption was so loud
Back to
that
the sex talk.
people heard it 40 miles away.
No. Their eardrums ruptured 40 miles away.
Well, that's
They
what
heard
that's.
it 3,000 miles away.
Wow,
Now that's
that is
unbelievable.
That's loud.
That they literally, like, you would stand there 3,000 miles away and you'd hear like,
Yeah.
it's like, what the hell was that?
Well,
Was that Nick again?
well, here's the title of my next fact. Say what? Okay, so
What?
it kind of fits.
Oh, you said say what?
An ancient text. Now, this is like written text, not on your phone, called the Voynich manuscript, still baffles some scientists. Now,
Voynich?
Voynich, or maybe it's Voynich, Voynich,
Yeah. okay,
manuscript.
Voynich. Yeah.
It was handwritten in an unknown language. This manuscript has been carbon dated to roughly 1408 to 1438. Hundreds of cryptographers and master code breakers have tried to decipher it over the years, but no one has succeeded in grasping its meaning or origin. At the end of it all, I think
We're like two 12-year-olds.
right. I know. I was going to say grade 4, but close enough. So apparently, I think we're all familiar with this. It's like new language. Who dis?
No, but wait a minute. So there is this manuscript
Right.
written in an unknown language.
That's right. 1408 to 1438 is when they.
So speaking of 12-year-olds,
Yes.
just imagine this. There were these two 12-year-olds sitting there going, what do you want to do today? Watch a few ferrets catch some rats? Nah, let's write this crazy manuscript of all this scribbly stuff, and then maybe in thousands of years from now, somebody will find it and freak out.
Yeah. You're like,
Think
yeah,
about that.
let's do that.
Or it's a secret map to treasure, Nick.
Oh, you know what? We're going to end the show early today. We'll be right back next week. Thank you very much.
We'll be right back.
We'll
Where
be
was
right-
this? Where was this manuscript from?
They didn't say where it was, but it was found.
See, it adds to the intrigue.
That's right.
Could be anywhere. Nick.
Exactly. New language. Who dis?
They found it in Nick's bathroom. It was written on a roll.
Right. And not a bathroom tissue roll.
Okay, the Dutch Sicilian War.
Okay. That would have been an interesting lunch that day, but go on.
Yeah, when you think of Italians, you normally don't think of war.
No.
They're not very good at it.
No. You know why? Because when they were told to go get 300 pounds of shells, they came back with pasta.
I know.
Yeah.
335 years this particular war lasted.
That's all?
The Italians know how to do it, right? They're like, if I'm going to go to war with them, this is going to last the 300 years.
But you know what?
No battles.
No.
Get ready.
Yeah.
No battles.
Okay.
No death.
Yes.
And absolutely no gunfire.
Ah.
But a lot of insults.
A lot of malocchio, which is like a curse in Italian, right?
You're Dutch. I hope you get a blister from your wooden shoes.
Yeah.
Now just think about this.
Yeah.
There were no battles. Just a lot of pasta and beautiful women walking
Around. Yeah. Yeah, that was.
Check this out, you Dutch bastard.
Listen, that was the secret weapon. You distract them with the
Okay.
women, yeah.
It started when in 1651 the Dutch they went up to this English parliamentarian who they sided with the English parliamentarians rather than the English royalists.
Right.
The royalists raided a Dutch ship in protest of the Italians giving their kudos to the other side. And thus the Italians said, we got a problem here. And so the royalists ended up in Sicily, and because they lost and the Italians had sided with them, so the Italians said, well, we can't lose now. So you Dutch, you go and F yourself, but toot the fanut.
Yeah, all done.
That's what the Dutch said. They said, toot the fanut. We're never going to leave here, and we're never going to declare peace, because they never did.
Wow. So it's still going on.
Till this day,
Yeah.
the Sicilians, and they are at war with the Dutch, apparently. So every time I go to Aruba, I urinate in their lakes.
Right.
They have
So,
lakes.
when you go out with someone and you go Dutch, they each paid for their own. So in this case, they each paid for their own war.
Exactly.
They went Dutch.
In Sicily, when you go out and you go Dutch, you assassinate the person you went out with, which is what Nick used to have to do,
Right.
to save himself from shame.
You have no idea.
Nick and Roy will continue with totally useless information. You're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Listen, laugh, and learn.
Thanks for joining us on Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. If you go to our website, we told you all about the birthday messages. Go to the Nick and Roy store. But also, when you go to nickandroy.com, you can send us an email.
What's in the mailbag? What's in the mail?
What's in the mail?
Oh, yeah?
So I'm going through the mailbag.
Yes.
And I see Mary from New Mexico.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, Mary from New Mexico. And I start reading on. Mary has a rather long email. But the gist of it is she translates our show into Spanish.
Oh.
Because she has a number of Latino friends who don't speak English. And she says that she cannot believe, it's amazing to her, that even in Spanish, they listen, they laugh, and they learn.
That's why we say
And
it.
I said, that is amazing. They're walking around in Spanish saying, did you know the moose, he pees on himself?
It's de Renato. And I can honestly say, sincerely, from Roy and I, muchas gracias.
Yeah.
Now translate that into English. Stephanie from Creemore, Ontario, says, you guys are the best. We listen to your show every week on the radio.
Not much going on in Creemore, huh?
No, probably not. Oh, they make some great beer, by the way. Really great craft beer. Oh, wonderful. We listen to you every week on the radio, and then we download your other episodes from your website. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, that's right. You go to nickandroy.com. Here's my question. When watching TVs or movies about planes, I often hear pilots use code words when they're communicating with the air control tower.
Yeah.
Can you give
like,
me...
look out.
Yeah. Doc, can you give me some examples? I only remember Alpha, Bravo, Charlie.
Yes.
So, thank you very much, Stephanie, for the question. Stephanie, you have a great question. Pilots and air traffic controllers use a phonetic alphabet to ensure clear communication by using words like Alpha for A, B for Bravo, and so on, because sometimes over the radio, over the transmission, it's not exactly the best audio quality, and so they use these words. For each letter of the alphabet has a word that it's universal throughout all of the airline industry. So I'll give you the examples. A, Alpha, B, Bravo, C, Charlie, Q, Quebec, R, Romeo, X, X-ray, Y, Yankee, Z or Z, Zulu. On the show today, we talked about animals. We talked about going down the garden path. We talked about history. It's time for the news.
And now, from around the corner and around the world, this is TUI News.
A woman was arrested after mistakenly vandalizing a vehicle that she thought belonged to her ex-boyfriend.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no. She said, there's his car.
Yes. In the release, deputies have responded to vandalism at Gramercy Drive in Deltona. I don't know where Deltona is. It doesn't say where the dateline is on this. Let's see. I'm going to look up Deltona, where this is. Let's find out on the fly. Hey, look at that. It's a city in Florida.
Did she put her key into the side, took a Louisville Slugger to both headlights?
No. A young woman was spray painting a vehicle.
You know the song, Nick?
Oh, that song.
And I took the key into the side.
You know, it's funny because in my script I wrote, it sounds very much like a country song.
Yeah, it is.
Deltona is in Florida, of all people.
Oh,
all
of course,
places.
it's in Florida.
Upon
the
a-
psychopath was probably drinking when she said, "It looks like his car. It's yellow, and his car was blue." But whatever.
Well, let's see. Upon arrival, she was colorblind. Upon arrival to the area, deputies found a woman later identified as Elavina Fabianski, 18.
There's an interesting name. Right?
There's one to take to mama. 18 years old, and a 16-year-old girl. The latter of whom had yellow sprayer paint on her sweatpants, according to investigators.
Yeah. So they actually got the paint on themselves.
Yeah.
From vandalizing the car. I would love to know what they wrote. Do you know?
Let's read on into the story.
Cheater.
When questioned, the 18-year-old admitted that she was upset with her ex-boyfriend and decided to spray paint and throw eggs at what she thought was his vehicle. And there's the crime right there. With the price of eggs, you're throwing eggs at the vehicle?
Well, not only that, it's so hot down here in Florida, they were probably sunny side up by the time the cops got there. I tell you, the cops had breakfast.
That's right, they did.
The cops were like, hey, maybe if we take some of those donuts out of the car and we can have some eggs and donuts.
You're eating the evidence. Unfortunately, the vehicle in question
He
belonged...
was like, listen, I'm not going to eat the yellow. We don't know if it's paint or yolk.
Right. According to the officials, unfortunately, the vehicle in question belonged to a neighbor, not the ex-boyfriend.
Oh, my God. The neighbor comes out. And think about the neighbor's wife.
Yeah,
The neighbor's wife
right.
is looking at the car going, you did what?
What? Then
Who did this?
then the wife spray painted the neighbor.
You expect me to believe you?
Well done. That's why next week when we do the AI play, that's what we're going to call it.
Cheetah.
Next week we're going to call this AI play on words. However, it turned out that the car's actual owner just parked across the street, leading to the misunderstanding.
Oh, no.
The damage to the car was reportedly to an estimate of $5,000.
Yeah, he walked into his wife that night, that guy, and he said, boy, what a great spot I got right across the street.
Now, the sheriff's office provided body camera footage of the encounter, which can be viewed if you want to go online and check it out. But as a
Body
result...
camera footage, meaning the girls had cameras while they were doing it, or the cops? You see this great footage, and then all of a sudden it's just a splat of yellow.
Well, I guess she was, over the body cam.
The stupid girl had the spray can the wrong way.
Hey, look, it's a spray tan. Deputies also explained that they caught the women driving with two open containers of Four Loko in the plain view. What's Four Loko? L-O-K-O.
Apparently, it's what makes them loco. Getting back to Mary from New Mexico.
There
she
you
doesn't
go.
even have to translate that one.
No, not at all. They're all loco. So she was arrested and now faces charges of criminal mischief, contributing to the delinquency of a
Driving around
minor.
with an open container.
But also because there was a minor, 16 years old, possession of alcohol under 21, and DUI.
And it was easy to find the minor. She was the one with the light on her head.
Right. Well done.
She was like, I can't find my loco. Oh, there it is. It's in the spotlight.
It's in the spotlight. Now, meanwhile, the 16-year-old is in more trouble. She faces a charge of possession of marijuana over 20 grams.
Whoa,
after they
so
found
she
the
was
drugs.
dealing.
She must have been dealing. So in
20
addition,
grams, that's a lot.
so not only that, now this is where I think this warms the hearts of Canadians. They recovered an empty Crown Royal bottle, a scale, and a can of yellow spray paint. So maybe they were dealing, because what did they need the scale for? My gosh. That's all the time we have in this episode of Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. We will scour the internet far and wide to find out totally useless information just for you.
And until then, being that I'm in Florida, I'm going to find one of them Coco Locos and drink it myself and see what happens.
Locos.
And then I'll put the results on the next show.
That's right.
Until then, tell a friend. Tell everyone you know, because that's why we're in 80 some odd countries around the world, listened to by millions around the world. We're even translated now into Spanish by Mary.
That's right.
So until then, thanks so much for listening.
And don't forget, next week we're going to have the AI play on words. Well, we'll actually use, for the first time ever on this show, AI. I'm Nick.
And I'm Roy.
Thanks for listening.
Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy is recorded and produced in Canada. For more totally useless information, visit nickandroy.com. That's nickandroy.com. Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy has been brought to you in part by Tom's Place, the finest in men's fashion. Located in Toronto at 190 Baldwin Street in the heart of Kensington Market. Or visit toms-place.com.